So, a lot of you will be aware of the concept of a win trader in Wild Rift. This is something that has been on the lips of a lot of high elo players. If you follow a lot of high elo players' accounts as well as their YouTube channels, you'll notice that they talk quite frequently about win trading. And it is something that's plagued both the Asian and the European servers for quite some time. The concept of win trading is essentially forcing a match where you queue into people that you know and have pre-planned this matchup with, and then essentially one side of the team throwing intentionally to guarantee the win for the other side of the team. And this is something that can be done to either A, get yourself the highest rank in a certain champion with like a 99% win rate, or B, find the most coveted spots in the high elo leaderboards, like the rank 1 challenger spot, for instance, which was actually given and was for a long time in the hands of a very well-known win trader on the European servers called Jerry. So essentially, it is something that has been a real issue for Wild Rift over the course of the last few months, and it was definitely something that Riot were needing to act on, and they have, as per the title of the video, but I will get to that in a moment. Just to explain how these players actually win traded and to kind of help alleviate any fears that it's going to be happening at all elos across Wild Rift. Win trading was the process, especially at high elos, where groups of 3 people would queue at the same time, and then they would get to the match found and accept one by one, counting the amount of people who've accepted the match to ensure that they were in the same game. They would then get into the same game, and because they were groups of 3, they were guaranteed to be on the other sides of the opposite teams. And then they would then, obviously, one side would throw for the other side, depending on the person that was supposed to be receiving the win. The reason this only ever happened in high elo is because the player base at the upper echelons of the ranked ladder was small enough so that if you were trio queuing, and you were more than likely, if you were trio queuing at the same time, to match into another trio queue of a similar elo that was, queuing at the same time. So it was something that was more easily or more readily able to achieve in the higher levels of the ranked ladder. This is something that is much harder to do even at Emerald or even low Diamond and below, because the player base is bigger. So it's much more likely when a trio queue queues, another trio queue might be queuing, might be multiple trio queues queuing at the same time, and there'll be a much more like specific matching based on elo as well. Whereas at the higher levels, because there's often a little bit of a discrepancy between the people that are queuing into each other, it was much easier to guarantee a match where you faced up against each other. Whereas, Emerald, even Platinum, almost impossible to make it happen on a consistent basis. Yeah, it might happen once in a while, but never something that you're able to do relatively consistently. So what boggled my mind about these players was that clearly they were good enough to get to like the likes of High Diamond and Master. Why couldn't they have just played normally? They were clearly good enough to grind to the point in the ladder where it was even possible to consistently win trade and match into each other. Why the hell weren't they just playing normally? That's what absolutely, I couldn't get my head around. That is what I couldn't get my head around, because these players are clearly good enough to get to Diamond and higher. How are they, what is the point of win trading? I guess apart from those coveted spots at the high end of the ladder, but surely you can just do it normally. But this is what it looked like. This is a video from Leon's Twitter. This is what it looked like when they were kind of win trading. They had, Leon knew exactly what was happening going into this game. You might have seen this on my toxicity video. And essentially, the 3 people that were in the queue together, the 3 Diamond players you can see here, they start to run down mid from the very get-go, and the 3 players that are receiving the win are there and pick up the free kills. So they are there, they all pick up the free kills, and the win traders just run into the tower and give away the kills early on. So that is something that is like a very common experience, or was a very common experience for high elo European and high elo Asian players. There was even such a prevalent thing that there was a Twitter account created to exposing win trading and kind of like attempting to expose as many sort of win trading episodes as possible so that the people that were involved would be brought into the limelight. Well, Riot did something about it. An update on win trading posted just today, actually, very early on today. So the TLDR was that they are banning win traders, and they'll also be removing all ranked 1 season rewards, and their accounts will be reset to Iron 4, which is some sort of crazy ironic justice, like hilarious, honestly, those accounts go from like rank 1 challenger to Iron 4. And actually, one of the funny posts that I saw is that the rank 1 player, Jerry, got reset to Iron 4 on his account. So he's banned and then reset to Iron 4. Whether this means he's permanently banned, I don't know, because they did say on this update that the accounts with the highest win trading activity will be permanently banned. Other accounts with evidence of win trading will be banned for 7 days as a warning, with all Season 1 rewards removed. These accounts will also be reset to Iron 4, and any repeat offenders from this list will be permanently banned. So there are 2 major lists: permanently banned accounts that are basically engaging in win trading on a very frequent basis, and those accounts that engaged in some small levels of win trading or any level of win trading, with their essentially banned for 7 days, Season 1 rewards removed, and their accounts reset to Iron 4. The thing about the Iron 4 reset that I guess I'm curious about is, has their MMR been reset, or are they actually down in Iron 4 MMR? Because these, like I said, these players were clearly good enough to get to like the higher levels of the ladder so that the win trading was actually possible. So if you reset them to Iron 4 and reset their MMR, they're going to be basically like a Giga Smurf in like the very low elos, which will be, I know, like I guess an easier experience for them. But yeah, if their MMR, however, is not reset, are they going to be playing in like challenger level games as an Iron 4 player? Because that would be hilarious. That to me would be the most hilarious thing. Like, you've win traded and now you have to grind up through the rank ladder with your MMR being where it was previously. So you have to grind up through the Iron notch system, get those individual wins to get through Iron 4, Iron 3, Iron 2, but you have to do it against like diamonds, which I would find hilarious. Like, I actually think that's the best punishment possible. Reset them to Iron 4 but keep their MMR exactly the same, and they have to go through the hardest matches to just get out of Iron. That personally would have been my way of dealing with it. But essentially the whole point of this post is that they knew it was happening, and they wanted to take action. But really what I gather is that they needed time to gather enough evidence for the player behavioral team to say, yep, definitely win trading. Yep, a serial offender of a win trader. Or, yep, this person's not just having a bad games. This is someone that is actually actively engaging in win trading scenarios. Because it isn't just the case of like, you can't just have someone go 0-10 in one game and you're like, yeah, they're win trading. Because that's obviously not the case. Clearly someone could just be having a bad game, or someone's trolling, which obviously isn't any better, but obviously not quite as serious as win trading or match fixing. But yeah, no, clearly, they'd have to look at several instances, gather lots of evidence to be able to make this kind of like decision in a very, very, very confident way. The other thing to consider is that they probably wanted to catch up as many people as possible and deliver it all in one swift blow, and then also put out this communication at the same time saying, we've banned a load of win traders in our first wave. If it happens again, there'll be another wave. So I imagine it was like a mix of wanting to catch as many people at the same time, as well as making sure they had enough evidence on the people that were listed that they could make the confident decision that they were win traders and not just people having bad games and trolls. Not that trolls don't deserve being banned, of course, but it's a little different to having a troll versus a win trader. And this was someone else that I got sent a screenshot of. They showed me the number 1 player on the server reset to Iron 4. It's just sweet justice, isn't it? It's just absolutely sweet justice. So I just wanted to update you guys that Riot have taken action on win traders, and they are absolutely putting competitive integrity at the forefront of Wild Rift, and I really, really commend Riot on it. I think they've done a really good job of this, and I think this is the first step in just getting that ranked ladder a bit more competitive and a bit more fair.